Alright guys, so I was gonna do a whole intro and everything, but I'm not gonna do an intro. Let's cut all that stuff out. I came to a Subaru dealership right here. They have a pretty nice Forester right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of hard because they got tinted windows. This Subaru dealership, this Subaru dealership right here in Stevens Creek. Okay, so I needed to redo this. I just went to a Subaru dealership, and they, first of all, weren't really the best at customer service. Not only did I walk in and they had this really cool Forester, they pretty much didn't really acknowledge me. If anything, the guy at the front that's supposed to greet every customer kind of walked away from me, and he didn't like really acknowledge me until he noticed, like, hey, look, I'm trying to look for someone to help me. Or if anything, I was actually trying to look for the 2022 BRZ, but I couldn't find it. And then we made eye contact, and it was that awkward eye contact where, like, okay, yeah, I gotta approach and talk to him now. I approached him and I was like, hey, do you guys have a 2022 BRZ in stock by any chance? So I can maybe take a look at it. And then I was gonna mention test driving it, but he cuts me off and he's like, no, those are just orders right now. So we don't have any in stock. They're low quality. We have a low quantity, and we're only gonna get some in a couple weeks. But those are already like pre-ordered. So I was like, oh, okay, you guys aren't gonna get one like for display. And he was like treating it like this was like, you know, a Z06 C8 Corvette, you know, like if it's like on demand like crazy, you know. I understand those cars, but this is like a $30,000 car. It shouldn't really be that crazy. It should be enough for like dealerships to have one car on display to encourage people to want to order the car, or if anything, upgrade their car to the newer one. Ford is doing that with the Bronco. Mostly every dealership has a Bronco that they can't sell. They just have it on display so people could take a look at it, sit in it, open it up, and see all the gimmicks and stuff. But it seemed like the guy wasn't having it. It seemed like this other guy in the desk wasn't having it either. I asked the guy, I was like, are you guys marking it up? And without like a doubt, this dude was like straight up serious face. He was like, of course we're marking it up. It's like if I offended him by asking him that. It's like he literally got offended by me asking him like, oh, are you guys marking it up? He was like, of course we're marking it up. Like, I'm pretty sure in his head he was thinking like, of course we're marking it up, dumbass. What type of question is that? So I was like, how much are you guys marking it up? He told me $5,000 on top. So that's pretty dumb if you ask me, because if it's a $32,000 car, you're marking it up for $5,000. That brings it close to $40,000. That's about $37,000 with some change, California fees, all that. That's like $40,000. That's an entry level Supra 2.0. You get a turbo with that one. BMW, better interior, better quality. And right now you could get those not marked up. So right off the bat, I was like, you know what? I know this dude doesn't really want to help me or whatever. I'm dressed in my sweats and like comfortable clothes. So maybe that's, you know, he's probably just like, oh, dude. Maybe he's just like, you know what? This guy doesn't have money or whatever. But we approached the other guy. And that's when this guy's like asking him like, oh, hey, or when are we going to get some in? And all these other questions. And straight up that guy was like, I don't know, man, you gotta go talk to that guy. Like, he just didn't deal with me. He didn't really care. If anything, I just felt like he was just the same thing with just like this other guy. Doesn't think I'm really gonna buy it, or doesn't even think I have a good credit score or something. All right, guys, so the ultimate question that I know you guys have been wondering, and that I've gotten a couple people ask me, and that's if I'm gonna be upgrading my 2017 Subaru BRZ to the new one, which is a 2022 Subaru BRZ. And from what I just told you guys, my experience at going to the Subaru dealership in Stevens Creek, maybe not there. Unfortunately, they did not provide good customer service. They were kind of like arrogant about stuff, so they lost me as a customer or future customer. As I was saying earlier, one of my friends works at the Ford dealership, and the people that own that Ford dealership also own the Subaru dealership right across the street from them. So texting my friend right now, and I'm trying to see if he knows anyone that works there and if they can maybe hook it up where they're not total asses and they actually do their job correctly, where it's like they help out the customer in the Facebook groups for like the BRZs. And most people are saying that they're getting MSRP a little bit cheaper than MSRP, or even a Costco discount. If you're a Costco member, you do get a discount if you go through Costco/auto, Costco.com/auto, something like that. Just Google it. You just type in the car you want, new or used, and they some dealerships work with Costco where you get an extra discount. Some people are getting like 500 off to 1,000, which isn't that bad. I'm not really trying to get I'm not really trying to get a discount on the car. I'm just not trying to pay MSRP, because I already know that these cars aren't gonna hold their value as much as like a C8 would, or a 3.0 Supra, where obviously those are a little bit more higher end. But exactly, this car isn't a high-end car. It's an entry-level sports car that's only hitting 228 horsepower to the crank. If I could get it for MSRP or a little bit below MSRP, I might pull the trigger. I really love the way my car looks, don't get me wrong. And I would honestly prefer to keep this car, but I know for future people and future subscribers, you guys would want to see the newer car. We've all seen the BRZs, FRSs, and 86 now. I think everybody has done a lot of content with them, including me, and unfortunately I feel like it's better to just get the next model, make some videos with that. And the good thing about these newer models is that you could still use some of these same parts. So I wouldn't have to buy any coilovers. I could still use these wheels, even though I was planning on getting new wheels for this car, and a couple mods like that. So not bad. I wouldn't be spending that money. I wouldn't be spending extra money on coilovers and stuff like that. We could reuse them, plus they're Fortunato's. They work really well. The only thing holding me really back from really upgrading and doing this move is it worth that extra bump in horsepower? 184 pounds-feet of torque and 228 horsepower. That's only like 15 horsepower or 13 horsepower more than this car. That's a big what if, I would really want to purchase the 400Z. I just don't like the front end that much. If the front end was a little bit better, more aggressive, not too robotic, I would really pull the trigger on that. I mean, it's gonna come twin turboed off the bat. Thing's gonna already have like 400 or 500 horsepower. But for me, it's not about the new stuff. It's not about all these gimmicks and stuff like that. For me, it's more about like, hey, I want the car that's very driver focused, that's all around the perfect car for me. And so far this car has met it. I love the Mustang I had, but it was too much body roll. This car is just perfect. It just lacks the horsepower, which isn't bad. I wouldn't mind turbocharging it or supercharging it, but now that I'm thinking, now that this newer model came out, now I'm thinking like, why not turbocharge that one in a couple years, like in a year or two, instead of turbocharging this one. So let's talk about the 2022 BRZ. If you get the premium one, it's gonna be around $2,800. The newer one is gonna be right around 31,000. So you're just paying a couple thousand more. Only difference, the one thing I do like about the new one is, no matter if you get the premium or the limited, both of them come with keyless entry and both of them come with push to start right off the bat, which is great. The limited one, you do get the heated seats, you do get the little red stripe in your seats and Alcantara and stuff like that. I really don't need that. Plus Alcantara wears out faster if you're really gonna be daily driving it. So after a couple of years, it's gonna look bad. With the premium, you get 17-inch wheels. With the limited, you get 18-inch wheels. And you also get, I believe, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. I could be wrong, but I know you get some performance tires with those. And how I'm doing the math in my head is, might as well spend the $2,000 extra on the limited, where it's gonna hold its value a little bit better. You're gonna get 18-inch wheels and you're gonna get the tires. So I'm automatically gonna put 18-inch wheels, so I could just sell the wheels and keep the tires on those from that car and put it on my aftermarket wheels, where I'm gonna hold, where I wouldn't have to be spending, you know, $1,000 or more on tires, especially right now with the limited supply that we have. If I'm gonna be spending around $1,000 on tires, think about it as like, okay, you should have just paid the extra $2,000 to get the limited, because you're already getting those tires brand new. So think about it as like a, you know, $1,000 off, because you're already gonna buy tires for an 18-inch wheel. So now you're only paying like $1,000 more just for, you know, the limited version. There's not really much else you really get. The only difference between the automatic and the manual is with the automatic, it comes with the adaptive cruise control, snow mode, and all those stuff. Just pretty standard how like the older version had it. But manuals, they don't have that, because obviously you're manually shifting it. So I guess all in all, it's gonna be a hard decision I'm gonna make. I'm gonna think about it. I really don't know what to do if I'm gonna pull a trigger, because honestly, how I've gotten this car so far, I really like how it looks. And the new one, it's still up in the air how I feel about the taillights. That's one thing I really loved about this car, is that you could do so many different designs for taillights here. You could do the Aventador, Toms, Valentis, all these other taillights. And that's one thing that the new BRZ and 86 aren't gonna have, is uniqueness of the amount of taillights. I feel like can't really do much, you know, you're either gonna look like a Buick, or they do have those Intec taillights. I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of those, kind of like just two circles. It looks very off. It reminds me of like a RX-8. Don't get me wrong, I had an RX-8, loved it, but there were some design features that I personally didn't like. So that's enough of me rambling, guys. I tried my best to go to a dealership. I should have recorded it. But yeah, this video was kind of a fail, and it's just more of an update of me talking about if I should get the car or if I shouldn't get the car. And to anybody who's watching this, and you already have the 2022 BRZ, comment down below what are some things that you actually love about the car, and some of the stuff that you actually don't like about the car. And if you came from a previous generation BRZ 86 to the newer one, please, I really want to know if it was worth that upgrade. There's some people that had the car for like 6-7 years and then they upgraded it, and they say hands down the other one's a lot better. Even with tuning these cars, putting E85 and headers with an exhaust, it still wouldn't be faster than the newer one stock, which is really good. That's kind of saying a lot, because the amount of money you're spending on all that versus getting it right from the factory give that big potential for the mods that are going to come within the next 2 years. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and we're about to hit 1,000 subscribers. That's insane. So thanks for watching, guys. Good vibes. Until next time.